Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here and today it is time for episode number 13, unlucky number 13 as it may prove to be, of the Williams Road to Recovery career mode. As per usual, we will be trying to restore Williams to their former glory of years gone by. Today we are in round 13, that is in Singapore, for the amazing night race they have over at the Marina Bay circuit. As you can see, I'll be looking to switch over to primes on lap 6, but before we get into any sort of racing, it's probably time for the qualifying report. In a very strange first session, the McLaren of Jenson Button would be fastest from Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. Force India showed good pace, with Sutil 4th and Duresta 6th. At the bottom, meanwhile, Charles Pic made it through for Caterham, as Rosberg, Massa and Raikkonen were almost eliminated. We did, however, lose Perez, Grosjean and Gutierrez, 19th, 21st and 22nd respectively. Status quo was returned to an extent in Q2 with a Ferrari fastest, but this time it was Felipe Massa from teammate Fernando Alonso. 4 Brits made it through, whilst Nico Hülkenberg showed a lot of pace, 4th fastest. In the shootout, however, it will be Lewis Hamilton on pole in front of Mark Webber and Felipe Massa grabbing their best qualifying results of the season. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel could only struggle to 6th in front of a promisingly quick Nico Hülkenberg, his fellow countryman. So all of this means that Lewis Hamilton will be on pole for the Singapore Grand Prix in front of Mark Webber and Felipe Massa. Fernando Alonso is 4th and 2nd of Ferraris, being out-qualified by his teammate for the first time this season, where Nico Rosberg, Sebastian Vettel and Hülkenberg, with Button, Duresta and Yesufu rounding out the top 10. So then 10th on the grid, not incredible but pretty respectable considering the fact that I really don't get along with this track very well. We're about to go out onto the track though. 10th on the grid, Maldonado I do believe will be starting 12th. It was a really mixed up qualifying. Raikkonen way down in 14th, Grosjean 21st, Perez in 19th, Gutierrez last, Charles Pic getting out of Q1. That was a really just mixed up qualifying session here in Singapore. I'm not entirely sure why. I've chosen Sergio Perez to be my rival this weekend. It seems to be a good choice with ourselves in 10th and Perez in 19th. But revs up, we're ready for a start. 5 lights on, a long hold, and we are underway. Duresta, they're getting a good start to the right-hand side, but what is this? Have we got worn tyres on already from the start? Well, I'm not sure. I have to look into that. We dive into turn 1, going past Button, Duresta, and making a bit of contact there with Vettel, I do believe that was, on the left-hand side. We go round the outside of Vettel and up the inside of Jenson Button, also going past Duresta and someone else. I didn't get time to look. Rosberg go on the inside of one of the Ferraris in front. That's Alonso. We're just going to go right round the outside of him, down the back straight. Around that corner now, entering the back straight and using the rest of my curves after I use some of it off the line. Maldonado getting a pretty good start as well. He looks as if he's in about 10th place. Ourselves here in 5th place. What a start though. From 10th on the grid up into 5th place. But I would like to draw your attention to the little map of my car. And there is tyre wear. Already I have made a humongous blunder. I have chosen tyres that were worn from qualifying. Do not ask me how I've done that. I've never done that before. I'm not entirely sure if anyone in the history of Forever on this game has done it before, but I have found a way here in Singapore to do it. So from the get-go, on a track where tyre wear is a little bit bad, not quite as bad as places like Budapest or in Spain, but we're starting on worn tyres, and you know my tyre wear or my tyre conservation is not good at the best of times. So with the fact that we're starting on these worn tyres already is pretty catastrophic. There always seems to be a problem, doesn't there, at some stage in the race. No matter what the problem is, it's at Belgium, it was the fact that we we didn't do a setup, so we were ridiculously slow in a straight line. And here, this time in Singapore, it's the fact that we've got worn tyres on. We're going to have to conserve the tyres. We're not going to last till lap 6 on these option tyres. That is not going to happen at all. As per usual, of course, we are starting on the option tyres, which for those of you that don't know, that is the softer compound and therefore the quicker compound, but it lasts a lot less time than the prime option, which is of course the harder compound. But as we now move on to lap 2 of this 15-lap race, of course on 25% difficulty, 25% race distance, that was an absolutely awful corner cut there. My rival is in 17th place, of course, being Sergio Perez. At the moment, Lewis Hamilton is leading the race. I'm going to assume that's probably from Felipe Massa. Then from the Red Bull are Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso currently in 4th. We're down to 21 drivers, though. We've lost someone. We've got yellow flags there down on the mini-map, so someone's gone off behind. Unbeknownst to us, and you know, quite surprisingly, not actually to do with us as well. Usually, some sort of accident is to do with us, not usually the AI just doing it themselves. But we're in 5th. We're retaining a pretty decent gap as well, back to Nico Rosberg at the moment, and then behind that is a pretty good gap as well, back to the rest being Sebastian Vettel Maldonado in that gaggle as well, and I'm assuming Jenson Button. But now, moving on to lap 2 of this 15-lap race, and tyre wear starting to become a bit of a problem. We've gone really wide there through the penultimate corner. I don't know if anyone's ever done that before either. DRS is now enabled as we are on lap 3. I think Sergio Perez has dropped a position. Bit of contact there from Rosberg though in a straight line. My bad really, because I came across and I didn't realise that he was alongside us that much. I didn't realise his front wing was completely alongside my rear tyre. But usually the AI do tend to back out of that sort of move quite easily and quite convincingly, so I'm quite surprised that he didn't back out of that. Bit of contact made in real life, that would have been a little bit catastrophic, but of course Rosberg now with the aid of DRS, and round the outside he goes. We're going to try and tough it out on the inside. Rosberg though maintaining the outside line, bit of contact. We're going to try and go round the outside though, down into this right hand turn. We cut him off, cut his nose off slightly there. Good defensive work there from myself. A little bit of a glitch, I apologise there, that was me having to pause and then edit out the pause because you guys don't really want to see me pausing the game. But later on into lap 3, and a catastrophe for Fernando Alonso. Now, in an online race, you'd expect at least 3 people to go off at that corner in 3 laps, but not the AI. Stupid mistake, really, there from Fernando Alonso. Such an experienced guy, and we make a complete hash of the next turn, and then get a bit of contact from Rosberg. No damage done to ourselves or to Rosberg, though. Very lucky, though. We managed to just about put the anchors on and not get any damage, though. Tyre wear's looking a bit bad. A bit of a slide there, big fishtail. On these used option tyres now, very much used. Alonso's doing us a huge favour. He's not managed to hold up Rosberg and Button, but behind that he's holding the rest of the field up an absolute treat. Our teammate Maldonado's in there somewhere, and those guys are losing about 5 seconds at the moment to us. Behind though, Rosberg all over the back of us, but decides to back out of a move, and Button then trying to go round the outside. There's no way he's going to make a move stick round there, but we now move on to lap 4 of 15. We're sitting 4th in the race. This is absolutely incredible. Through the first corner we go, Hamilton leading this one from Webber and Massa, and just to point that out, Webber and Massa, now I play a lot of offline racing actually, away from career mode as well, and the fact that Webber and Massa are in 2nd and 3rd is actually quite an unknown thing. Usually Webber and Massa are sort of fighting for like 5th and 6th, so the fact that they're both on the podium is quite incredible and quite impressive. But look at this, Rosberg in the DRS, in the slipstream. He is just going to breeze around the outside of us. There's nothing we can do, a bit like last time. We're not going to be able to do anything there to defend. Rosberg was already clean through before we even made it there, and a big slide, having hit the wall on the outside, and I think these tyres are going to have to come up on this lap. Otherwise, we're going to end up losing out to Jenson Button as well, and we're going to lose an absolute shed load of time to Button. I don't know if you guys just saw that. I might zoom in when it came to it, but someone just went off as well. We're now down to 20 drivers. Someone did go off at one of the tight corners onto the runoff area that this Singapore track tends to have. We're into the pit lane though, meanwhile, as Nico Rosberg sets the fastest lap of the race, dropping down the order to change these option tyres off. They are absolutely worn to the eyeballs. I made a complete hash of that sentence, but just completely ignore it. We come out of the pit lane, Perez, our rival's gone through, we're dropping like a stone. We're into 16th place, a nice move there made by someone down into turn 1. Someone who's looking very slow actually, not entirely sure who that was, as two Marushas go around the outside, very conservative there, out of the pit lane, trying not to cross over the white line. That was extremely noobish actually, that was really quite slow. In front of us though, Jules Bianchi, and I think Max Chilton in front of that in the other Marusha. On to lap 5 of 15 then, we're going to have to try and make these tyres last quite a long time. That is a long time for these tyres to lapse, from lap 5 to the end lap 15. On to lap, continuing lap 5 a little bit further on though, and we've now started to catch Jules Bianchi here for 17th place. Of course, he's going to be pitting either at the end of this lap or the next lap. A few guys in front coming in, and yes, Jules Bianchi does come in, the Frenchman, in that Marusha coming in. We breeze past on those prime tyres. Charles Pic as well coming in, as well as our teammate Maldonado and a few others. We now move up into 12th and now 11th, and there is Jenson Button coming out of the pit line. We made a complete hash over the first corner, but we do manage to hold on just in front of Jenson Button with that undercut. In front of us though now, Rosberg has just come out of the pit lane. He's managed to get out in front of Max Chilton, which is great for him because he now won't be held up by the Brit in the Marusha. But in front of him though is Guido van der Garde in the Caterham, and now van der Garde could do us a serious favour here and possibly hold up Nico Rosberg to the point where we can get close to him. Now, obviously we're going to have to try and navigate Max Chilton in that Marusha first, and behind us, of course, Jenson Button will have to do a very similar thing, but hopefully the back markers, although, well, they're not back markers, technically they're not a lap down, but the lower end field could really help us out here. Into 10th place, of course, but when the pit stops shake out, we should move back up into 5th place, with Rosberg going past us. But unfortunately, in front, van der Garde's efforts to keep Rosberg at bay are pretty futile, and Rosberg has made the move stick on the Caterham, as you can see just in front. He's now sitting just in front of Max Chilton. There is Van der Garde, the Dutchman. So we've now got to make sure we navigate our way past Chilton and Van der Garde as cleanly as possible. Rosberg lost a little bit of time getting past Van der Garde, but not as much as we probably would have liked. On to lap 6, of course, of this 15-lap race, and we lunge up the inside of Chilton down into this right-hand corner and make a pretty good job of that. Button unable to make it through as well behind, but we're now up into 9th place, and we'll be in 8th, of course, when Van der Garde pits, and a little bit higher when the rest of the people in front pit as well. I think, obviously, Alonso had to come in to change that front wing, so he's going to be on a very different strategy to us. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes back into play later on. He won't be fighting for the win, of course, with that, having lost a lot of time with that front wing change, and with having low down, and having a lot of understeer with that front wing gone. But as Van der Garde peels into the pit lane, and so does Ricciardo and Perez and a few others in front, we now move back up into 5th place of this 20-car field with the 2 retirements that we've had so far. In other news, we've got a warning for corner cutting there through that first corner. On to lap 7, though, of course, of 15. And actually, I think Alonso has come out of the pit lane in front of... Where the heck has Jenson Button gone? Jenson Button's just disappeared. I've only just noticed that, actually. He's just completely and utterly disappeared. I don't know what's going on. But moving on now to lap 8 of 15. And this is going to be the craziest thing you will ever see on F1 2013. On the mini-map, we've got yellow flags. Look at the mini-map. The next corner, there's a cluster of cars. We've got yellow flags. We're going to turn left, and there is a pile-up of everyone in front of me. We've been punted from behind. Alonso there, Webber, Massa, Hamilton, Rosberg there as well. Button now trying to force his way through. A Lotus is there as well. That's Raikkonen. We've been repositioned and now put into the mix. We've just been put in the middle of Raikkonen and Di Resta. And what has gone on here? Lewis Hamilton has clearly crashed into the DHL barrier and has just completely caused a pile-up. He's just completely ended Massa's race. Webber's race in front of me here. He's in the lead, but he's going to have to pit for a new front wing. The safety car has been deployed, and we've had a completely AI pile-up here in Singapore, and we're now in the lead. Having been in 5th place, we've been gifted the lead by Lewis Hamilton causing a pile-up down there. Literally, no one else could have caused more carnage than Lewis Hamilton leading this race. If there was someone, even if it was just Rosberg in front who had done that, it wouldn't have been as carnage. There's going to be a load of people coming into the pit lane to change front wings. There's 3 people there already that are coming into the pit lane. Here's the safety car. We picked up the safety car. And is that not the craziest thing you have seen on this game so far? The AI causing their own pilot, bringing out a safety car. I was actually quite surprised at the time they didn't bring out a red flag, because literally everyone was just stationary. But we are now leading. We're going to lead away the pack as the safety car comes in at the end of lap 10. Behind us, Rosberg. Raikkonen from 14th on the grid is 3rd place at the moment. We've got a Force India there somewhere. And what a restart that is, as the green flags are waved or shone on their lights as they are here at Singapore. We've completely left Rosberg for dead, although we are going to have to keep hold of our tyre conservation with that catastrophe that we had at the start with putting on those warm tyres from the get-go. We're going to have to make sure we conserve our tyres very well. We had the lean mixture on there for the whole of the safety car period, so we can use the rich fuel mixture later on in the race. We are leading here in Singapore. This isn't even a track that I remotely like. I don't like this track. Well, I like this track, I just can't do it. I can't do this track, and I can't do Japan, so watch out for that later on in the series. I haven't recorded it yet, but I'm sort of putting forward, you've pretty much put most of your money forward that will be an absolute catastrophe, but still, and I'll tell you what is a catastrophe. We've lost our front end fence, our right end fence on the wall there, clubbed the curb, got a shed load of understeer, and we're now going to have a lot more understeer later on in the race. We move now on to lap 13, though, of 15. 3 laps to go. Raikkonen's managed to pass Rosberg. He's trying to go round the outside of us down into turn 1. Will he make the move stick? He goes out wide, and he manages just about to hold on to the position. Great bit of work there from Raikkonen. We get a better exit out of the corner there, or a tighter exit. Raikkonen gets the better exit behind. Button's also missing his end fence. So there's a huge amount of battle scars going on. Ourselves with front wing damage. Rosberg also with front wing damage, and Button behind. We're going to have DRS and the effect of Kurz as well to try and bear down on Kimi Raikkonen, but we're not going to be anywhere near close enough. Button tries to go through up the inside, but he can't make the move stick, and I think they have ducked out to let Rosberg back through, and he does, I think, with that brief look back we just had. I'm not entirely sure. But we've now, of course, lost our front wing, and we're trying to hunt down Raikkonen. We've lost the lead of this race. It's disappointing. We had the chance to win. Well, we've been having the chance to win this race after that massive pile-up there That is still the craziest thing I've ever seen on this game. We've run a bit wide though, and it's now Rosberg, of course, harrying us from behind. He's going to try and make the move with 2.5 laps to go and our end fence damage. Although Rosberg, I suppose it's a bit of a level playing field because he has a similar problem, as well as Jenson Button. I think there's a Force India. There's a Force India in 4th. That's Paul di Resta in 4th place. The Brit is in 4th. Well, I'm guessing it's the Brit. I think it is Paul di Resta there in 4th because Sutil was way down the order. So Paul di Resta in 4th place for Force India. That's incredible. Button's dropped, I think, down to 5th place. I tell you who I haven't seen in this entire race. Everyone's been gaining so many positions from their terrible positions on the grid, namely Raikkonen and people like that, as we clobber the wall on the outside where that pile-up occurred a few laps ago. I haven't seen Romain Grosjean in this race at all. I know he started a long way. I mean, a long way down the order, but he hasn't really got. I mean, we've been a long way down the order. We've been towards the middle of the order. We've been at the front, and he's been nowhere in sight any time at all. Perez, though, our rival, is in 6th place. But Rosberg, looking up the inside, I don't think he's going to make the move stick there, and he goes a little bit defensive. And actually, I think has just lost out to Paul di Resta in that Force India. So Rosberg then losing out, and di Resta takes 3rd place. Button's made it through into 4th. What a great race this is for the Brits. We've got ourselves in 2nd, di Resta in 3rd, and Jenson Button in 4th. Really raking it home for the Brits at the moment, as Fernando Alonso sets the fastest off the race with a 1:44.8. Now, clearing one thing up, last time I did an F1 video, I claimed that I'd read the fastest lap to 1 decimal place, and I hadn't, and that was pointed out in the comments section, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I have, so there should be some funfair going on in the background, because I managed to do that, but a massive snap of oversteer, bit of contact there from di Resta, pushes us out of the way, and oh my goodness gracious me, that is a sight that no F1 driver wants to see, or even someone who's playing this game. There were 4 cars in sight trying to get past us then. Rosberg, Button, Perez, our rival, who's come from 19th on the grid and is currently in 5th, and di Resta, all trying to get through. Pretty much all of them have some sort of damage from that pile-up that occurred. This is just one of the weirdest races I've ever done. That pile-up, first of all, then the fact that there was a safety car, and just the fact that pretty much every AI driver has some sort of damage on their car. I think Perez does, Button certainly does, and Rosberg certainly does. I do. Raikkonen and di Resta, I think, are the only people who don't. We're, of course, on the penultimate lap of the race. I completely failed to mention that because of all the excitement that's been going on with all these guys that are trying to get past. Jarno Trulli himself will be proud of this trolley train that's going on as we come through the last few corners of this penultimate lap. Coming through these corners for the penultimate time, Rosberg all over the back of us, the sole remaining Mercedes, surely in this race. Surely Hamilton didn't survive that, having caused. We've gone wide though. Out of the last corner, Rosberg will have DRS down into turn 1. He's going to try and go to the outside. Behind us, Perez has made it past Button. We're just about going to hold on. We edge Rosberg out. Perez then looking at the inside of Rosberg. Yeah, Perez does have. He has front wing damage as well. This is insanity. Everyone has front wing damage. We're still trying to hold on though. In front of Rosberg, we've got horrendously wide though. Awfully wide. Rosberg hits us. If he didn't have front wing damage, he has now. Perez is all over the back of us. They've all got DRS. They're all going to be charging us down. Rosberg goes to the outside. Perez goes for the middle. Di Resta's there as well. We brake quite cautiously, and Rosberg tries to go around the outside. Bit of contact similar to, I think, what happened on lap 4. We just about hold on, try and get it round the outside, and we have just about held on. Button's managed to get past Perez. Di Resta's lost positions. Maldonado's doing a good job. He looks as if he's in the points somewhere as well. Di Resta's lost a shed load of time. Rosberg goes defensive to Sergio Perez. This is absolute carnage. Perez has just lost a shed load of positions because he tried to go the inside and has now gone cautious. And this is just carnage, and my PBR's broken slightly. It's alright, we've only missed a corner and half a straight. My PBR is so bad, it's so bad. So is my computer, but still, we're still in second place. How the heck we're holding on to the second place is absolutely beyond me. Rosberg is there. We've got Button there. Last time I looked, I think there was a Red Bull there. I haven't seen a Red Bull pretty much all race apart from Webber and hitting Vettel right at the start. I just don't know what to believe in anymore. Raikkonen's leading behind. Button's gone up the inside of Rosberg, and Button's made it through for third place. Massive slide though from ourselves. That was almost catastrophic on the penultimate corner, but we are going to take second place. Raikkonen, just to point that out there, Raikkonen wins from 14th on the grid, but we take second. A similarly brilliant feat from 10th on the grid behind. Button takes third to make it 2 Brits on the podium. Through goes a Red Bull. I'm going to assume that was Mark Webber, but here is a classification of the results to that absolutely simply insane race that we have just witnessed. Kimi Raikkonen wins from 14th on the grid. We take second place there for Williams to claim 18 points. Jenson Button taking Nico Rosberg with 3 corners to go. Brilliant move from himself to get third there for McLaren, his first podium of the season. Rosberg gets fourth in front of Webber. Now that's a pretty decent recovery as well, because under the safety car he had to come in to get a new front wing. Sergio Perez from 19th on the grid. Vettel claims 7th in a pretty dismal weekend for him. Di Resta gets 8th. Maldonado picks up points. Our other half has finally picked up points. Alonso rounds out the points in front of Gutierrez, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Byrne, Peake, Van der Garde, Bianchi and Chilton. The retirements in that one were Lewis Hamilton, unsurprisingly having caused that massive pileup, Felipe Massa, Adrian Sutil in the second of the Force Indians, and Romain Grosjean, which completely, I suppose, explains why I didn't see him for the entire race, because he pretty much retired on lap 2. That's when the first retirement was. Here is how the championship stands, though. Lewis Hamilton leading it by about 40-odd points. I can't really read it from here. 46, I think, in front of Vettel. Pretty poor weekend for him. And Alonso only claiming 1 point. Rosberg doing well out of this. Massa as well not claiming any points. But we do a great job. 18 points for ourselves. And pretty much 4 of the 5 in front of us didn't score, in effect. Webber there in 7th. Raikkonen up to 8th after that win in front of Perez, Button, Hulkenberg, Grosjean, Gutierrez, Di Resta, Sutil, Maldonado now up onto 5 points after that. 1 point he claimed. No, 2 points, sorry, he claimed just then. 6 points even. Maldonado should be. I don't really know. And then Ricciardo and Verne, the other point scorers. But here is how the Constructors' Championship stands after that absolutely insane race. Mercedes lead it on 331 points in front of Ferrari and Red Bull. They're having a decent battle for second place, and then a magnificent battle in the Constructors' Championship for fourth place between McLaren, ourselves, and Lotus. The 3 British teams there fighting it out for fourth. Sauber there a little bit cut adrift in 7th place, as well as Force India there in 8th place, and then Toro Rosso 9th, with Keita Marussia yet to score any points. But I'm really hoping you enjoyed that absolutely crazy race. 2nd place and another podium, our 3rd podium of the season after a win in Montreal and 3rd last time out in Monza. There is my guy celebrating next to Raikkonen and Button. An odd podium where you really wouldn't have suspected that at the start of the weekend after qualifying. Nevertheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Williams Road to Recovery. I certainly did. Like and subscribe if you did, and comment about enjoying it if you enjoyed it that much. It's been an absolute pleasure ranting at you guys today, and as my guy celebrates an absolutely magnificent second. Have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.